Hello dear students, once again I welcome all the standard 7 students on this online classes. So last class we have discussed about relative density and densities and its formula as well as the problem related to relative densities also we have discussed. I hope we all have understood that one. Today we will be going to discuss about floating and sinking. Yes, that one is also related to density and relative density. So that's why it is given in your book, floating and sinking. You just go through your book also. So let's start this one. An object sinks in a liquid of less density than its own. Otherwise, it floats partly or wholly submerged. Obviously, this one will happen if two different objects are there. One is liquid, let us take that one as water, and another one is a solid. If we compare the densities of both the liquid and the solid is having more density. Yes, solid is more denser than water. Then what will happen? Because it is more denser than water, that's why it will sink. Or if a solid is there which is less denser than water, in that case it will float. Yes, or wholly submerged or floats partly. For example, a piece of glass of density 2.5 gram per centimeter cube sinks in water of density 1.0 gram per centimeter cube. Obviously, this one will happen because the density of water is 1.0 gram per centimeter cube, and that too glass density is 2.5 gram per centimeter cube. Yes, but it floats in mercury of density 13.6 gram per centimeter cube. That same glass will float in mercury because that mercury is more denser than glass. An iron nail sinks in water, but an iron sheet floats because its average density is less than that of water, and it is made like that only. The more the density of a fluid, the easier it is to float in the fluid. This is the reason that an iron nail floats in mercury, but it sinks in water because the density of mercury is more than that of water. You keep it in your mind. Similarly, it is easier to float in sea water. What is the reason? Then in fresh water. It is easier to float in sea water than in fresh water because obviously the density of the sea water is more than that of fresh water. Yes, due to the presence of dissolved salts in sea water. That is the reason behind that. Okay. Plimsoll lines on the hull of ships. Ships usually floats because their average density is less than that of sea water. But an overloaded ship will sink. Obviously, that one will happen. Every cargo ship has a mark called the Plimsoll line. Yes, you can see that one, figure 1.17a, that is Plimsoll line on a ship, and it is the bigger part right hand side, that means figure 1.17b, the bigger view it is given, enlarged view of the Plimsoll line on a ship. Yes, you can see that one, tropical fresh water, tropical water, summer, winter, north, Atlantic, like that it is given. That means that indicate that on which case how much amount of water or how much portion of the ship will be sink inside the water. That's why that Plimsoll line is plotted there. Yes, the Plimsoll line indicates the maximum depth up to which a ship can be immersed in water when cargo is loaded in order to avoid any loss. Okay, if this line sinks below the sea level, the load is too heavy and ship will not be able to float. Okay, that Plimsoll line, that is the reason behind that they are plotting the Plimsoll line. Okay, rising of warm air upward. Warm air near the surface of the earth tends to rise as it moves up. It transfers heat. This is because warm air is less dense than the cold air above it. Obviously, if we compare what happened to the gas when it is heated, it becomes lighter Yes, the molecules start separating from each other more vigorously. That's why its density decreases. So, warm air is having less density as compared to cold air. So, as you all know that one, that less denser things are always floating. But in case of air, it will rise up only. This is because warm air is less dense than the cold air above it. The cold air tends to sink, just as a dense rock sinks in water. Hand glider pilots often rely on updrafts of warm air to help them aloft. That hand glider pilots also, they are taking the advantages of that warm air rising upward. Then variations in density of fluids due to temperature also. Obviously, temperature is the main factor because of which that density variations we will find out. Because whenever we are heating any substance, at that time there will be a variation in temperature will occur. Because if you will go to the deep, yes, what we will observe? The molecules start separating from each other when it gets heated. Most fluids expand in volume on heating, therefore, when such fluids are heated, their densities get decreased. Okay, keep it in your mind this one. Water behaves differently, but in case of water, it is different. When you heat, it contracts or take up less volume when heated from 0 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius. This is very important part. Okay. So, from 0 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius, water behaves in a different way, which is not same as that of the other liquids, how they are behaving. Okay. So, other liquids, when it get heated, it expand, but it contract. That means water contract from 0 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius. Then what will happen after 4 degrees Celsius? After 4 degrees Celsius, again that water behaves like the same thing as that of the other liquids behaves. So, and its density increases. But in case of other liquid, when it gets heated, it expands and its density decreases. At 4 degrees Celsius, it has maximum density. Above 4 degrees Celsius, water expands when heated and its density decreases. The density of ice is slightly less than that of seawater. So, when a big glacier breaks in a cold region, it may float in the seawater with a small part outside. But in fact, a huge ice block called an iceberg may be hiding inside the water, which will be dangerous for any boat or ship sailing in water. Okay? That floating and sinking, that is mainly depend upon the density variations only. Okay? On the other hand, most fluids contract on cooling. In such fluids, the density of a solid is more than that of a liquid. Again, water is in exception. In case of heating also it is exceptional case. In case of cooling also it will show the exceptional case. Okay? So, water expands when it cools from 4 degrees Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius, while other liquids, while it is cooling from 4 degrees Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius, if we observe, yes, they will contract and the density will be increased. Yes. So, because that water expands when it cools from 4 degrees Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius, therefore, its density decreases because it is expanding. Obviously, density will be decreasing. Ice floats on water because it has less density than water. In general, lower density substances float in liquids of higher density. I hope up to this much all of you have understood. Still, you will go through it properly. Okay? Thank you.